Hello, everyone. Annie here. First, I'd like to just say I'm sorry for such a delay in this process. A few significant things happened in my life over the last few weeks, and it set me back quite a bit. I was on the road for a little bit, and I got, I guess, just backed up with life. And um, so, again, I'm sorry for that. I appreciate everyone being patient in waiting for these updates. I will also say that those of you who enjoy sending me hate mail, I um, I'm not a huge fan of it, but if that's what gets you through the day, then at least I can maybe be an outlet for you, so you're not like beating your dog or verbally chastising children or something like that. If I can help you in some way by being available and giving you an opportunity to just be rude and cruel and disgusting, I guess I will consider myself an outlet for you, and you're welcome. So that being said, I will just kind of leave this topic, but I will say that I am a person, and I don't know why. Does anybody know why people just like to send hate mail? Like maybe that's a topic we could talk about on my own channel, because it is amazing to me. I'll just end it with this. It's amazing to me how a keyboard warrior um, finds some kind of reward or joy in sending a complete stranger vile, rude, and hateful messages. Like what is the end game? Just something for y'all to think about, I guess. I'm lost when it comes to stuff like that. I don't get it. But anyway, let's move on. September 9th. Can a hold or no bond be held in secret by the city court until the day I'm released from jail? Judge Owsley is going to keep my voice recorder, and he says that he can't release my voice recorder to me because I'm not in his jurisdiction. He told me this back in December of 2024. He didn't say there was anything on the voice recorder, but if there was something on it, he wants to hold me in contempt for. I expect him not to surprise me with it. I fear that I will be partially released and a hold will show up. I don't know how the hold process works in Louisiana. I didn't see anything on the Louisiana revised statutes or the Code of Criminal Procedure or the Administrative Code. All I know is that the city marshals can put me on the NCIC, but it's not clear what standard they follow. The government in this state likes to spring surprises on us a lot. If I had to make a defense against a contempt of court case, what do I need? I expect an investigator will be there to take the stand and answer questions. What kind of questions can I ask them about the process that my voice recorder was checked into evidence? How many hands could have touched my voice recorder? What are the security measures in place? I'm already serving 270 days for contempt in this failure to ID case. This would be another contempt of court. With a second judge, I assume the statute of limitations is suspended until Judge Barber's jurisdiction ends. Then Owsley reigns jurisdiction. Are there laws supporting this change in statute of limitations? If charged for the voice recorder, can I ask Judge Owsley to review the resisting arrest ordinance? Why ignore the ordinance and use state law? The only difference for refusal to ID is detainment. The ordinance doesn't require it. September. I think the judge had plenty of time for a probate cause motion and to investigate my voice recorder. The city court can push beyond its $2,500 bond limit. I had a $1,000 bond paid in cash. When I asked to reduce it in December of 2024, Judge Barber said he could have raised it. City courts have a bond limit per Louisiana law, so he went from a $1,000 bond to no bond or a hold. Judges in Kansas don't understand Napoleonic law, and probably neither do NCIC maintenance crews. District court can set unlimited bail. How often do they lean towards no bond or holds for failure to ID? Shreveport City Courts will stop hearing domestic violence cases, moving them to district court. Natchitoches City Court doesn't have an ordinance for domestic violence. If the city can't make an ordinance, shouldn't we be able to move to district court? This court stretches its authority because people don't question jurisdiction. I will challenge it. How can a city court with limited jurisdiction, bond cap, no felonies, no juries, its own jail, and no DOC numbers deny court-appointed attorneys and put me on the NCIC as no bond or hold? My strength is down. I can only do 6 pull-ups. I'm resting more, but doing lunges in the shower, improving my breathing. I used to skip cardio for days, but now I can get my breathing up in a minute and enjoy it. The jail likely withheld emails on purpose. I fear weird dreams when dopeheads smoke while I sleep. Thick smoke chokes me. Mild smoke gives me nightmares. Guards flash lights or turn TV off when this happens. Inmates must smoke with wicks burning. Some try even in the hole. Some inmates don't like smoke, but most addicts ignore it. Guards can't sober them up, only manage the chaos. September 11th. I have another sore throat in 6 months. It's been 3 so far. Outside, I had 6 stomachs, but no sore throats. I may have eaten rancid food in my car. Things need to change outside. I don't get sick in jail. In Louisiana, it's more economical to jail indigent defendants than provide court-appointed attorneys. The jail would rather overcrowd with inmates on the floor. I will not exercise while wicks are burning. Exercising with smoke raises breathing unnecessarily. Laziness in this condition is healthier. Inmates should not get more than 1 toilet paper roll at a time. Batteries shouldn't be sold in the commissary. Hanging blankets indicate smoking areas. Guards should stagger inspections. Bible pages with more than 10 ripped pages are used for smoking. Razor blades need metal detectors to detect broken razors. I don't know. Guards need to check tablet backs to see if they've been used to cut dope. Smoke detectors do not work and are never inspected. September 12th. Why can't inmates have a copy of their FBI rap sheet? Louisiana law states offenders can view and take notes but not receive copies. My prosecutor said even he cannot access the data. Only qualified cops can. Yet in 2022, I was given my own and others' rap sheets. Many states are involved. Copies are not safeguarded, and inmates can steal them during fights or shuffles. I think he meant scuffles. Qualified cops must stop printing these for underqualified people. The law exists, but Natchitoches Courthouse and jail disregard it. September 15th. I've had minor stresses today. Some inmates constantly get extra milk by shameless begging. I avoid begging, but watch carefully. One inmate was given 2 milks. He kept both. The inmates in here are hyenas. I don't feel comfortable in the pack, but meals are too small. The dietitian acts more like a guard. Guards prevent sufficient outdoor exercise. Nurses tell us to tough out our medical issues. This female guard was written up for failing duties, and I hear inmates discuss her willingness to trade contraband. Inmates in the hole received batteries to light toilet paper for smoking, and the female guard may have been persuaded to give in to the dopeheads. September 16th. Ruiz versus Estelle case from 1982 seems like a lot of elements are still being practiced here too. I'm told that some of the trustees still have keys for some doors. I have never seen a trustee unlock a door though. Sitting out this long jail sentence is like sitting through a long winter in northern Wisconsin. Cabin fever can set in with these long lockdowns, with terrible people whose backgrounds and criminal charges that are repulsive. Some people turn to dope, and other inmates don't. I would call this lockdown fever. My thief, swindler, liar, fighter, overall bad guy is sleeping next to me now. It feels like sleeping with the enemy. I normally would just keep my distance from these people physically, but instead, I have to keep myself at a distance from them mentally. The guy already makes a lot of unpopular decisions as far as smoking, trading, and cleaning. Let's see. He's recruiting other inmates to do his favor with the use of dope. He starts out by offering you something free with no questions asked, such as a towel, toilet paper, or dope. If you accept the free item, then he knows that you're probably open for other deals. He only needs to wait a few hours, then attempts to make various trades or sales with you, such as selling his bed. He lied to the guard this morning about not being able to eat the regular meal trays. He told the guard that he can only eat the diet tray, but he acquired 2 regular trays that he ate, and somehow he got 4 milks, which is about the most I've ever seen an inmate acquire. He did it through his trading, which is composed mostly of dope. One guy traded his breakfast tray for a little dope. The dope might have more value than coffee here. This thief and swindler convinced me to stop buying the coffee. If I don't trade the coffee with him, he will find ways to steal. I can't believe we are in the same dorm again. I have to buy less, eat faster, and watch my bed closer. He can actually watch everything I do even more now. He looks like a rough fighter with his larger size. I think he would make a lot of mistakes in a fight, but also make a lot of mistakes that lead to a fight as well. He pays attention to things that will benefit him directly. He's complaining to the guards that he doesn't have all of his stuff. I hope he doesn't get the rest of his stuff. He could have razor blades or a shank. I believe the sheriff froze his books as restitution. He has no money for the commissary, but finds other ways to acquire through lying, cheating, and stealing from other inmates who are physically weaker than him and have addiction problems. I think all the other white guys have addiction problems. A food distributor got put into handcuffs in front of the dorm during supper over a missing tray. We have 29 inmates. The food distribution comes in two ways. Either we line up at the door or a cart of trays is wheeled around the room. Both systems have their faults, especially with dishonest inmates exploiting the faults. Today, one inmate took full advantage of the cart being wheeled around the room. The trustee, food distributor inmate, may not speak a lot of English. We all had to be on our beds to receive trays. On the first beds the trustee handed trays to, there were 3 on a bunk. The trustee didn't realize that or say anything. So when the third inmate got his tray, he immediately went to his actual bed and hid that tray in his locker. Then he got another tray. So the last inmate, number 29, didn't get a tray. The other inmates started complaining to the guard about the shortage. They argued that another inmate left the dorm within the last hour and that he was probably counted. But the guard knew better and was very certain he counted 29 trays. The problem came down to the trustee, who handed 2 trays out to one inmate without noticing. He took the fall for the first tray into... He took the fall for the stealing. That is what made sense to the guard because he knew there was some dishonesty going on. I knew what happened because I watched the inmate put his first tray into the locker. And I didn't say anything. All the other inmates don't know, and some seem to think they were genuinely arguing on the last inmate's behalf for not getting a tray. The thief kept a straight face the whole time. It was a sickening display of cheating the system. I was afraid to say anything for fear of being called a rat and possibly not being believed either. The thief would have denied stealing. He constantly gets extra milk in the morning. He smokes a lot of dope. He's very athletic and younger than me. In the end, the last inmate got a styrofoam food tray, not the regular hard plastic tray. These inmates cannot be trusted with the smallest things and will act like fools even when they are not sure or wrong. This was over a terrible meal of rice and spaghetti sauce. September 17th. Apparently, there was some kind of escape last year that happened which caused this jail to shut down the rec time as part of the punishment. That's cruel and unusual punishment if it's true. It might be one of the escapees who is still in the pretrial phase of that case. He's looking at an additional 5 years for being part of the group. This inmate was one of the first guys to take my stuff as I got kicked out of the L1 dorm. He's a young, bad dude, but at least he was smaller in size, and that made him less of a threat to me. But these small guys are more likely to steal from me than fight me. On the other note, I'm still troubled by the voice recorder issue. After I serve my 270-day sentence, what can Judge Ousley do with his contempt of court charge hanging over my head? He could possibly find a recording of the court proceeding on the voice recorder that he seized from me in April of 2022. Has too much time passed for a contempt of court proceeding? I wonder. I would argue that any allegations of illegal activity with my voice recorder in the courtroom should remain with the case. That's it. September 17th. What are the standards that the jail guards must follow under the American Correctional Association? LaSalle is a private company that took over the jail in Natchitoches. The sheriff stopped running the jail after the private company took over. The guards work for LaSalle. LaSalle must follow the standards for the ACA. Any correctional facility employee who is employed by the operator of a private correctional facility and who has met the employment and training requirements set forth in the applicable standards of the American Correctional Association shall have full authority to perform his duties and responsibilities under the law, including but not limited to exercising the use of force in the same manner and to the same extent as would be authorized if he were employed by the Department of Public Safety and Corrections in a similar capacity. I don't know what all of that was supposed to mean, but that's it. So I don't know if that was supposed to be a question or not. September 18th. I think the voice recorder would be a new charge. How much do laws for district or magistrate courts apply to Louisiana city courts? Are there Louisiana laws similar to 18 USCS 3401 misdemeanors? How can city courts prevent transferring misdemeanors to district court? How can a city judge hear all motions when a magistrate cannot? Can a U.S. magistrate use a jury instead of a bench trial? City court has its own jail. Magistrates may not. My appeal went to the appeals court, which reset the case. Is the appeals court aware of city court limitations? District court designates city courts to hear cases. Doesn't this allow defendants to move to district court? City court has more limitations than admitted. Their clerks don't enter cases into the district system. My name doesn't appear in district court computers. Miss Davis relays city info, but keeps no record. Bond is limited to $2,500 per charge through 4 contempts would total $12,500. City court denied my bond. The judge can't hear a motion to quash. City court handles only certain low-level misdemeanors and cannot hold jury trials. City jail is separate from district jail, but we are housed together. How can this be? September 19th. Now I was moved from L3 dorm to L4, and this is the guards' attempt to break up the smoking, fighting, and dangerous activities that were going on in here. When I was moved in here earlier today, half of the 30 were still in here. They looked rough. One inmate who talked to me said they consider themselves the outcasts. Even with half the group in here, I saw one overdose where one puked from dope smoking and about 4 others were too nauseous to walk after their smoking. It takes them about 20 minutes to recover. I think they are smoking synthetic cannabinoids. It is a Schedule 1 drug. An inmate in the last dorm showed me his arrest info, which only happened 3 days ago. He threw a bag of these synthetics out of his car window, but the cops still found them. Helping him find the exact charges on this kiosk helps me learn about the law better. I think breaking up the dorm will be an interesting experiment, but I already see people moving in here who do love smoke still. It makes me nervous. I borrowed a razor to one inmate in here. They have been so locked down hard with everything that they weren't allowed commissary. Books were removed and all kinds of things to reduce the smoking. Also, I guess they were denied razors too, but after this inmate shaves with my razor, he lost it. But I see it sitting in the kiosk without a blade now. He or someone now has a blade from a razor, which is dangerous. I might have to tell the guard. There is no way I will ever lend anything else to this inmate. I hope he enjoys his clean-shaven face now. The guards hand out razors every so often. They try to limit access to the blades since they are popular for cutting dope with. The dorm is a little more than half full now. I might need help contacting the records clerk for the city court. The records clerk for the jail can't really help me. She says it's the city who answers the questions. September 20th. I suppose the federal magistrate court would outrank the city court. I wonder if the Fed magistrate would have any rules for city court, or is there supposed to be a separation of powers between state and federal? I have a grievance. To the guards at this Natchitoches, Louisiana jail. I am sick of the smoke. This correction center is teaching me how to correctly use and trade Schedule 1 drugs. The means to scoring drugs can come from a systematic means of using using phones, tablets, Cash App, wall calls, which is yelling and knocking through the walls, trustees, guards, books, batteries, and conversational skills using the local slang. These all take certain skills to learn, and I have watched a lot of the activity. Many inmates have secured a lot of drugs by mastering these useful skills. I learned how to avoid guard surveillance, deal with raids, shakedowns, and threats from guards. I know of the different ways to alert other inmates of the guard's presence. I see that a smoking violation is far less severe punishment and more common to charge a Schedule 1 drug charge against an inmate. It's easier for guards to find the burning object than know exactly what is burning. Inmates are much more careful to cover up their dope than a burning tissue paper. The reason that Schedule 1 drugs under Louisiana revised statutes are so prevalent in this jail is because it looks like regular trash. I can stick a piece of paper to the bottom of my shoe and it looks like regular trash, but later smoke it and get high. It looks like regular paper, but the only way to get high from it is smoking it. I guess that eating it or making a tea drink or possibly absorbing it through the skin does nothing. I know the dope smell very well. The smell is far from burning paper. It smells like burned rubber. It's synthetic marijuana, I think. As a Schedule 1, it is deemed to have no medical value. But I watched the inmates become very happy after using it, but also sick, comatose, and convulsive depending on how much they smoke and the type of synthetic they use. I want the guards to know that I'm sick of getting this training. It is keeping me from success when I'm released in the community. Okay. September 21st. Below is my response to the guard answering my complaint by saying that I think I'm perfect and that they are not RoboCops. I believe in appeal here. I can't copy and paste their response, only my message. In 2 days in this dorm, I have seen 2 overdoses, puking, and 1 fight. I'm in a really bad dorm. The last dorm, L3, didn't have a single fight. That lasted 1.5 months. Also, the kiosk never broke down. The people in this current dorm love dope and are scary. Also, there are 4 white people out of 31 inmates. Our rare germs are more infectious. While a lot of things escape, the guards attend. I don't know, just because this morning, 2 black shirts walked in through the back door and missed the missing thermostat. I commend one of those guards for catching an inmate in the process of grabbing the thermostat. It is taken down repeatedly because it's not locked. What do we really need it for? Why can't it be placed outside of the dorm? Check for wicks at odd times. Be more responsive to inmate knocks and calls. The less the guards are responsive, the more inmates discipline each other with fighting. What is the guard to inmate ratio? It should be 5-1. I bet it's over 12-1. Please take all hanging sheets. More wick use leads to more fights. That seems to be my impression. Fix the darkness in the back at night or leave the daylight lights on for 24 hours. The dope heads love the dark. Far end shower is cold and weak. Being forced to use the shower right next to the toilet is a problem with tension. Raise the wall or fill the shower. September 22nd. I sent a grievance to the guards. If I didn't see the Louisiana admin code, I wouldn't have thought about that testing requirement on my own. But these legislatures get doctors' input into the safety standards, and testing is probably the first thing they think of. The guards seem to have no problem if the kitchen workers may have a disease, as evidenced by the guards' refusal to run medical tests before the inmate starts work. What does the doctor think about this? But what if the workers are caught with cigarettes? Then the guards will take action and punish the inmate. It shows the priority and lack of training the guards have about what the bigger threat is for inmates. Cigarette smoke is more dangerous than diesel. I don't know what that means. This is scary. The CO encourages inmates to fight it out between inmates in overcrowded dorms with excessive lockdown times. This also encourages the spreading of disease. And I heard about a fight that happened in the kitchen. Bodily fluids are at risk of being spread more to other inmates than when fights happen in the kitchen. We eat the food that they mix and measure, and it is scary what can wind up in the food. The nutritionist said that the food will change in September, and I haven't noticed a difference. That we are still hungry in between meals if we don't buy extra food, and the people who can't afford the extra food will beg and sometimes steal or suffer the agony of an empty stomach. Imagine an indigent who is entirely dependent upon the kitchen food here and catching a disease from the service that we have no other choice but to eat. Louisiana outlines a mandatory guideline to test all kitchen workers, which means it's supposed to be 100% compliance, not random tests, and in particular, not choosing pretrial inmates who sometimes the jail may not have any information about. All right, so I guess that's it. I will also follow up with a post that a poll that Travis wanted me to post. So look for that. And I also wanted to mention, the email system is a little bit different right now. I am not able to access old emails from him for some reason. So there's something different. I don't know if it's across the board with everyone or if it's maybe they're monitoring email between Travis and me. I'm not really sure, but I will now have to save all the emails. But anyway, um, until next time, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Again, I'm sorry for taking so long and getting this to you. Life, life happens, and I will do my best to be in contact better. So have a great rest of your week. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll have instructions for how to get money on Travis's books in the description. I think that's it. See you guys soon.